No, nobody knows. They talk there's a hard Brexit, a soft Brexit, you name it. We don't know. All we know is there's going to be a Brexit, so Ireland had better prepare for it. We are better prepared than we would have been in any of the last decades, but still it's going to be a shock to the system when it comes, because we really don't know whether we're exporting into a country where there are tariff barriers or whether or not, as we say, there could be a soft Brexit with no tariff barriers, and this is the unknown. And until that winds down, nobody knows. If anybody looked at the media in the last few days, they talked in terms of before the Europeans will talk as to what trading relations the UK will have. They want to see how much money the UK will contribute to the European budget. So it's still all up for grabs. It's very difficult to create the plans because you don't know what the eventual outcome is. I think the Irish companies in general have been exporting beyond the UK for quite some time, and all they can do is probably lessen their dependence on the UK and see what happens, but there will be a shock in store. I suppose why a lot of startups fail is that they run out of money. They never in fact envisage how much money is required. A lot of companies simply think that the effort is enough, but effort without money is never enough. So entrepreneur or anybody else starting up in business, make sure you have enough money to ride out the first 3 or 4 years, which are vital. Well, I like Dr. Tony O'Reilly a lot. I remember when I was a very young person, I was selling in the USA. Tony had moved to Pittsburgh and to Heinz, and I used to call and see him. He often had lots and lots of words of wisdom, which we took back and practiced. He probably never realised we brought them back and practiced it, but I thought he was superb then. Thought he was superb all the way through his life. Funny thing, it was probably in my very early years, my first year back in Kerry, 1972, when I was rushing around and everything else, and one of the old people who was the director of the initial Kerry, he said to me one evening, will you just go home and go to bed, have a good night's sleep, and it will look a lot easier tomorrow. So I never lost a night's sleep after that, and it always looked easier the next day.